Hey guys, we're here today with Kyle Starks, writer and artist of many, many comic book things. We're going to be talking about a new, not upcoming, a new Wrestle Heist, sorry, and also his new Vertigo series, End of Life, and the other stuff he's done. So, hi, Kyle. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me too, guys. We love it
No
when we're
problem.
asked to come talk about things.
Yeah. So the thing we're starting with is the new Image series, which is Wrestle Heist. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, listen, it's tough to describe what it is because it's about wrestlers doing a heist. It's right there in the name. I really made it easy.
Very, very, very mysterious title.
It makes the it's about wrestlers doing a heist. There's the way I talk to it about people who like wrestling, which is it's as if after the Montreal Screwjob, Bret Hart decided to rob Vince McMahon and he stole WrestleMania. But otherwise, it's see, it's harder. It's harder otherwise. This wrestler is done wrong, and he decides to get revenge on the owner of the promotion, and thus he robs the biggest show of the year. It doesn't sound as good.
You know what? He's always picking on me because I don't know much about wrestling these days, but I do know what the Montreal Screwjob was. I do know what that is.
Okay, so Mr. Know-It-All, what?
I didn't say know-it-all. No.
What's the significance of the way these covers look?
They look like the old wrestling magazines.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Yeah. See?
One of my favorite magazines as a kid. I'm loving it so far. Really enjoying it. So what's the inspiration from your side? I mean, you're doing the art and you're writing it, so it's all you basically.
Yeah.
And you have some characters in here that resemble some people we may know.
Sure.
Right.
Stuff like that. Like
who that is.
I like archetypes a lot. I like subverting archetypes and playing with archetypes. It's something I've done, especially in the time of comics. Comics are generally like 4-issue miniseries now, and I feel like having a shorthand and entertaining characters makes it easier to tell a fuller story. But I've always loved tropes and archetypes. And I did a book called Where Monsters Lie, which is it's about a gated community for slasher monsters. It's like, well, they all look familiar.
I love that series.
Thank you. I love it too.
Yeah.
Very proud of it. And so I've always kind of used archetypes. And if you look through my books, like my very first book was self-published, which we'll circle around to in regards to what the inspiration was this. But my next book was a book called Sex Castle, is a love letter to 80s action movies. Right. There are things that are familiar. Assassination is about a bunch of hitmen. Some of them are maybe familiar, so on and so forth. I love shorthand. I just think it's easier to get into characters when it's not the 80s. I'm not going to do 45 issues of anything. I mean, this is literally 5 issues. We got to get in and out. And I think for a general audience, they'll be like, maybe they'll vaguely know who it is, but you don't need to. It doesn't matter. I think it adds, it's additive if you like it, and it's unique and fun if you don't. Because they're all their own. Like Gravedigger is clearly, I mean, by name alone and appearance, you go with Undertaker. And really? Sure, he's kind of the old vet who's been around, but it's like he's not that guy at all. He's not that guy at all. He's not.
Right.
But you get the bit. He used to play a gothic guy or a scary undead guy, and he wasn't a scary undead guy, and he's been around forever. That's all you need to know. You don't even know about the Undertaker or anything else. We love him.
No.
So that's why that's why they're all and again, the way I would talk to a wrestling fan is different because it doesn't matter. But to me, I'm like, oh well, Sterling Steel, if you're a wrestling fan, is like, what if HBK had the $1 Million Man gimmick? Right. That's fun. Beowulf is Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, anyone who talks crazy and like did things that made me uncomfortable, like grabbing and running around and screaming too much. And so in issue 2, we meet Ocho Bolo, who's your classic luchador. He's kind of an ultimate dragon to me. Again, how I talk about it first, not, but
you can talk like a wrestling fan because I said, I know a little bit about it.
It's also, and I found like because sales are what they are, and I think it's because it says Wrestle Heist on it. It looks like a wrestling thing. Man, I really think I think anyone would enjoy it. I think it's a good story. I think if they don't like wrestling, they like heist, surely, right? If you don't like heist, like surely you like having fun. And I think that's really, in the end, what I do as a storyteller. So the inspiration is not long, but my very, very first comic was a wrestling comic I made right before my now 15-year-old daughter was born. It's where I got my start making comics. It's self-published. It's called The Legend of Ricky Thunder. It's a wrestling comic available on my website, kyleStarks.com. I have a few copies left, very few. But and then I knew I wanted to make a comic. And I knew that,
and that was like what, 15 years ago?
I think the Kickstarter was like 2013.
Mhm.
So yeah, close. Yeah,
Yeah.
close. It's so funny because I've been like, it would be 10 years ago, and now it is almost 15. Like, who knows what's going on? And so the purpose of it at that time is that I made sort of a list of things that I didn't think I'd ever have time to do once I had my second child. And number one on the list was finish a comic, and not make a comic, but finish a comic. And Ricky Thunder is 162 pages, which is dumb and not the way to do it. But it was a wrestling comic because at the time there wasn't any.
Mhm.
And I knew I needed to make something that I wish existed. So I've always been a wrestling fan. In fact, when we did that book, a very common question, because I only had a wrestling comic, so I was only talking to wrestling people then. I was like, oh, when did you start watching? When did you get into wrestling? Which is, and I asked my mom because the city I'm in was a stop on the USWA Jerry Lawler Memphis circuit, right? We're the third stop. Evansville, Indiana. It's actually in anyone who's notable, Jericho, McFoley, Steve Austin, it's in their book at some point in time because everyone went through Evansville at some point in time on the USWA circuit. And I used to go with my grandmother every Wednesday to the Veterans Coliseum here in Evansville. And I said, Mom, when did I start doing it? She's like, oh, she took you in a baby carrier. So I've always been a fan of wrestling. and I think if you like, there's some of it and like everything to a point, in my book, Kill Them All, which just got reprinted, there's a character that wears a luchador mask. He's a luchador. In Rock Candy Mountain, which is a hobo kung fu epic, at one point someone does the Kinshasa. They do Shinsuke Nakamura's finisher, and the sound effect is Kinshasa. And I love it, and it's really like, well, why do a wrestling comic now? And the short answer is, how have I literally have to constantly resist doing it. Like, it's always like, because it feels like home. But the biggest reason for why Wrestle Heist now is that this is where it gets dark, guys.
Okay.
I'm serious. And the last couple of years have not been a lot of fun for me. In the comics, books aren't selling, which is kind of the nature of the industry. I'm not having fun. I'm very stressed out. I was in therapy for a while. That's a humble brag. Guys, it's okay. I just want to do something. I want to do something that wouldn't stress me out. I just want to do something that I would have fun doing, that I could just do, and I wouldn't have to go like, and we're going to talk about my Vertigo book later. I put a lot into my Vertigo book to make sure that it's good enough and that it's not just a silly, it is kind of a silly thing, but it's not just a silly thing. It's for Vertigo, and Vertigo is this historic thing. It's like, it's Wrestle Heist. No one's going to go, or if anyone does go, that character seemed a little thin. I'm going to be like, it's called Wrestle Heist, my guys. I don't know what you want. I just want you to have a good time. I just want us all to have a good time. And I think it successfully does that. I just wrapped up issue 5. And I just wrapped up the back matter for issue 5, which is as much work as the comic, really.
I missed it by this much.
You missed it by this much.
Son of a...
So yeah, it's just like, I wanted to do it for fun, and I knew wrestling was something that it's just like, I can always do an action movie.
Right.
It's just certain things are very easy. But for the wrestling, especially in sequential format, I think it's like, you have to find the right way to present it. And it's frequently not done very well, in my opinion. And so that was part of it too. It's like, well, this just made sense. You know what I mean? Like, it just made sense.
So you bring up a good point, because you said 14 years ago, you did The Legend of Ricky Thunder, and there weren't really any wrestling comics. But since then, there's been many wrestling comics.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge
good ones.
fan. And they've been getting progressively better, in my opinion. That the characters have been more developed. The stories have a lot of horror. I love that there's an infusion of horror into it. This is the first one that really is. It's like a crime thriller more than anything else.
There was an Image book that was a wrestling comic that came out years ago called Ringside. I think that's right. And it's more of a crime. Like, there's almost no wrestling in it. Like, the guy just happened to be like a wrestler. And I remember being very angry because it wasn't what I wanted it to be at all. It's by a real writer too. I can't think of it.
I lent you one that was called like Hell is a Squared Circle,
where they fight for.
That's a good one. That's Chris Condon.
That's Chris Condon. Yeah, that was really good. It's wrestling, but they're wrestling to the death, basically.
Well, that was also
Ringside is
do a power bomb.
Joe Keating.
Do a power bomb.
Yeah.
Do a power bomb. Right.
So Ringside was Joe Keating too. That was a that's an Image book, and Do a Power Bomb also was, in some ways, I went, oh, people will buy this.
Yeah.
Funny trick. Apparently, they won't buy it from me. But that's neither here nor there. But I did think that the response was so correctly strong to Do a Power Bomb that I'm like, maybe there's this thing, and I'm sure you will know, where it seems like every comic fan should be a wrestling fan because they're very, especially direct market
it's very
superheroes.
related. Yes.
Yeah. They're both male power fantasies. There's good versus evil. They're always fighting.
Yep.
They wear masks. They have powers, sort of.
Long, continuous stories.
Yep. Yeah. So it always seems like, and I thought, and again, it turns out incorrectly, but I thought, the wrestling fans are now in the comic shops. Like, so it only makes sense that they would be like, I like to do a power bomb, which is drawn by maybe the best artist in the industry. I guess I didn't think they would see mine and go, well, that's not even remotely the same, which is a fair concern. But it turns out that's maybe not the case, but it kind of surprised me because I always feel like those things, the Venn diagram of what you like as sort of a direct market superhero character fan and wrestling fan, like that's all purple. That's almost all purple, guys. But
they should definitely cross over. Well, how is the book selling so far? How is?
No, not great. Big brag.
Hopefully this helps.
I think in fact, because we're trying to figure out, I was expecting a little bit more, but there's a lot of things. This is tangenting away and not me. I'm so blessed that I get to do this for a living. I do it. This is all I do. Like I tell stories for a living. But I was expecting like in 2000, I'll vaguely say numbers. In 2017, I did Rock Candy Mountain. I had nothing before that. I had a Sex Castle, which was an OGN that was nominated for Best Super Publication. It was optioned before it came out. But Rock Candy Mountain, I hadn't done anything. And number one sold, I think, 14,000 copies in 2017. Now, it's really good. For me, Image is basically 1-to-1. Like you basically, if you sell 20,000, you make 20,000. Like that's it. If you sell things, Image is great. If you don't sell things, then you wasted your time.
Right.
So I had the numbers. They were a little more than half that, which isn't great because I was thinking that now a 3-time Eisner nominee, Peacemaker, I Hate This Play, like all these things that have sort of raised. I thought, well, surely I'll do at least the same, and I did. But it says more about the industry than probably me, or it says something about the state of creator-owned comics in 2025, 2026.
Yeah.
But I think they said that of like the last 50 Image releases, I was number 38. So that's not great.
Okay.
But I think there's all these things to play.
But it's still going though. So it maybe
you never know
up where it needs to pick up. I'm enjoying it. I'm a diehard wrestling fan and I'm a diehard comic book fan. So it's funny because in all honesty, you're on the show because as soon as I saw this before I even picked up the first copy, I was like, we have to have Kyle Starks on because he's writing what I like. I love wrestling.
Yeah.
And you can tell, I don't know if it's true of everybody who's written wrestling comics, you can tell based on this that you are a wrestling fan.
Yeah. For better or for worse, for a long time.
Right. For a long time. I still watch it to this day.
Same.
I won't say what I'm watching right now because I'm a little embarrassed to say what I watch right now.
Stardom. Is it Stardom?
JCW.
No, you know what? Hold on. They have Vince Russo over at JCW right now. And he's kind of interesting.
I've been watching it for about 6 or 7 months. So before he came over, I picked up on it and it was entertaining to me. And now it's just, I
just watched the most recent one on YouTube. Yeah, the Juggalos. Yeah. We used to have in Evansville after we lost Jerry Lawler's wrestling, like the next thing that tried to fill it in was like a Juggalo wrestling, which was not great.
Right.
But you know what? Here's the thing about those guys. They like stories and I like stories.
Yes, that's exactly. I like stories.
Those are always the promotions that I lean into is always, I want a narrative. I don't listen. I love it. I watch NBA if I want to see a display of athleticism.
Right.
And I like a story, but it's like, I can't, New Japan's tough for me, even though a billion people just like, we have story. I'm like, I know, but it's like, it's also just like these two guys wrestle because they wrestle and it'll be cool. And I don't care about this will be cool, though I do like it when it's cool. But it's like, as I talk about like probably my 3 outside of like 90s Attitude Era, which I think was the most story heavy time in wrestling. Like I loved Lucha Underground and I loved Chikara.
Lucha Underground was great
because I love story. Yeah, it's so good. And just because they were willing to do things other people weren't. And Lucha Underground was like
now. Indies has to have stories now. It has to be somewhat separated. I watch AEW religiously now, but again, they're not story driven really.
Yeah. I've unfortunately I always know what's happened, but I haven't watched in a while. And as soon as I messaged a retailer after the last pay-per-view, and I was like, oh, Swerve or Samoa Joe, like I can kind of get into that.
Yeah.
And then like nothing, it didn't do anything. You know what I mean? And like but I feel like I didn't get to see the Tony Storm stuff. And I remiss about that because I love that specific thing in wrestling when the gimmick and the story and the feud is so good it doesn't matter what's happening around it.
It doesn't. And it goes, it's bigger than wrestling. Tony Storm's gimmick was bigger than wrestling and it's no way they knew that was going to happen. There's no way.
I can't believe another thing is like, if you were going to say who's going to be like this, he hates it wrestling. He's like, if you would have said X person, Tony Storm is one day going to be arguably the biggest female wrestler, I'd be like, there's no way. She has no charisma. Way. She's not very interesting in the ring. There's no way. So shout out to her. I love it when people level up. I love it when you see that.
Oh, it was great.
I just talked to, I did another podcast and they were like, they didn't like Tony Storm because it doesn't fit. And I was like, well, Tony Storm is the Undertaker. Right. The Undertaker doesn't fit either, but somehow it works. And it's like, that's when they're the best. The best is when you can somehow sneak a demon in there.
We like that. The stuff that I shouldn't like this, but I like what they're doing there.
It's funny because when I was an 80s wrestling fan and then like in the 90s kind of dropped out of it. And then my first hearing of The Undertaker, I thought they were joking. I thought the person telling me about it was kidding.
That's so funny.
No, he's an undead wizard. I'm like, there's an undead wizard in wrestling? Like, what happened to
out of his hands?
Well, this person we're talking about, Tony Storm, is supposed to be like an old Hollywood starlet.
Oh,
really?
And it's black and white when she
comes
out.
Black and white.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And
she's very good at it. The character's very cool. She has very good vocabulary.
Yeah. It's a whole story. She has like a valet with her, and
that's hilarious.
And I don't know if you're watching now, but right now she's teaming with Orange Cassidy. Yeah.
I know what's going on, but I don't. There's too many. I had to cancel IWTV. Like it's too much. Like the NBA season, there's too much. You have to pick and choose. And I'll tell you this: a lot of times I'm not even enjoying it. I'm like, I'm still watching. And I'm like, this is. What are you guys doing to me? Give me something good. And I should quit watching the 6 hours of these 6 hours and just watch these 4 hours. I'm like, And then I'm literally on YouTube and I'm like watching OVW or I just watched these. Oh, like I might as well watch this. Yeah.
And it's funny because my wife one time was really mad at me because I was like, I'm going to watch wrestling. And at one point, wrestling was on 6 nights a week. I'm watching wrestling. But it's on 6 nights a week. My favorite right now, I love
how you do that.
I love the zombies in JCW. I think that's
they're a zombie.
What is it?
They have the zombies in JCW. They're two zombies. They're tag team wrestlers.
I haven't seen. I think I've heard of them though.
Oh, I haven't seen them yet.
And this is not about my comic, which is called Wrestle Heist, which is in stores now. But have you watched any of the WWE AAA stuff? Because it's kind of amazing.
I have not. But
it's my favorite. It's probably my favorite.
I love New Japan when. To me, right, Kenny Omega is the best. Is probably the best wrestler I've ever seen wrestling wise. I'm a huge Omega fan. Kenny Omega.
Oh yeah. No,
and when his New Japan stuff was, and New Japan got me back into wrestling. Not that I was ever out, but really pulled me in.
Yeah, interested. We're never really out. Unfortunately,
never out. We lost Brian though, so there we go.
We didn't lose.
Yeah, sorry. Back to
I knew we would at some point in this. So let's.
Well, it's all part of the same pathology, isn't it?
It is.
Like we like comics. The wrestling is part of it. Horror, cult films, action movies from the 80s. It's all part of the same pathology.
So Kyle, when you told us about wrestling and how your grandmother took you, when did you get into comics?
Same. When I was a little kid, I don't remember. Like I literally learned to read on comics. But why did my house have comics? I don't know the answer to that because I never saw my mom or my dad ever read anything.
Right.
So I attribute it to, and I don't know if it's correct because my dad's dead and my mom doesn't remember anything, is that my uncle has always had a silver and golden age business, even in high school. Like there's a famous story with my dad and his older brother, who's my uncle Tony Starks. Right. That's not a bit. That's his name.
That's brilliant.
Where someone was leaving them, like they had the choice of the coin collection or the comic collection. Right. And my dad was always mad because my uncle Tony tricked him out of the comics and then turned it into this business, a mail order business. He's done his entire. Wow. He used to be in one of the comic, the Overstreet. I think he used to have a monthly column. He's a guy. He's a real guy. My uncle Tony Starks. And I have to assume that he got us into it somehow because we went every week. We used to get a big paper bag full of comics. My mom would have to hide them from us.
Let's see if we can find him.
he was in there. It's called Comics in a Flash was the name of the arc.
Just randomly have an overstreet price guide sitting next to me from like 1980 something.
Wait, what was the monthly one? What was the monthly one?
The magazines. I have that time. This is the actual.
Yeah. He might be in there. Comics in a Flash is what the thing was called.
All right, I'll have to look.
I started working at a comic shop when I was 13 till about 22 when I was gone to college. So it's always been comics and wrestling. Comics and wrestling have just always been there. Everything else that I've sort of the other things that I'm really into, like I really like horror. Horror is brand new to me. Like maybe 8-9 years. NBA. Really? I got into the NBA in my late teens. So been comics and wrestling. It's always been comics and wrestling, and probably video games to some regard too. Though I'm not much. I'm a tourist in that regards for sure. But that was also like video games. They're always around. I remember getting my first Nintendo. We had to buy change. I remember how much it cost. I remember all that stuff. But then it's like I liked having drugs and sex and other stuff for a while there, which interfered with my wrestling. Which interfered with my wrestling fandom also.
Sure.
And comic fandom for a few years there. But
it always does. Girls always read comic books.
Yeah. Those are the two things that I've always been a fan of. It's always been. But I think my uncle must have given it to my brother. And he just really liked them, and so they kept doing it. And then, of course, back then, as we like to talk about, it was 30 cents for a comic. Like you could get 10 comics for $5.
Right. And you hid it. We talk about it all the time here. You hid that you read comics. You didn't.
It was a secret.
You didn't really let anybody know.
Yeah.
And the same was true with wrestling for a time too. That you really didn't like. No one else. You couldn't
same time
with anybody. Yeah.
I don't know which one would have been more shamed in my elementary school days. I'm not sure which one would have been worse.
I would think comics would have been worse.
Yeah, for me it would be
maybe because of you had Hulk Hogan and maybe it probably was comics. It's probably was comics
because Hogan was well known.
He was showing up.
They had a cartoon. They had a cartoon.
Sure. So it was cool to everybody. Where comics,
Glow was on Saturdays.
Brian just revealed himself.
What?
Glow.
Glow was great.
Who didn't watch Glow?
I watched every episode.
They made a Netflix series about it. It was so
great Netflix series.
Yeah. So one of the I want to jump over to horror just for a minute because that's my wheelhouse. Because it's my wheelhouse and I'm completely selfish. So you said you've only been into horror about 8-9 years, but you wrote Where Monsters Lie.
I wrote I did. I Hate This Place in 2021.
Right,
which with Skybound, which is my best selling for sure. It was Eisner nominated and GLAAD nominated. But so I'd say like 10 years ago. And
then a year later, you did Where Monsters Lie.
Where Monsters Lie 2. I did Those Not Afraid, which is about serial killers, which because I like true crime too, which is just horror. And right now I have a book called Devil on My Shoulder coming up from Dark Horse, which is the scariest book I've written.
I got number 1. And
it gets better at number 2.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, number 2, you get into it. That's unfortunate. Like 4 issues is tough. But I just wrapped up the 4th issue, like my review, and that book's exactly what I wanted to do. Like,
and you're working with the same artist from Where Monsters Lie,
Monsters Lie.
Yes,
he's great.
Yeah,
Grabowski. Yeah.
Yes. So, thank you.
I was known as a comedy guy when I started, but now I kind of do. I want to do everything.
Yeah,
I want to do romance. You know what I mean? I want to do everything.
Yeah.
But horror was because I was such a big horror fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know I can do this. Like, so if they're like, you want to do a spy thriller? I'm like, I could probably figure out a really interesting. But like, it's just like Wrestle Heist. Literally during the pandemic, which it's funny because 5 years later I'm having kind of the same laments. I guess is that my readership it had plateaued at too low of a number for someone who wants their stories consumed by people, which is the most important thing to me is that people read them, not the money. Like the money's nice, but I'm always going to do this. Like whether So several editors I was with at the time said, quit doing comedy. They're like, it's not, and they're right. I mean, they're right. And so I was like, I'm going to do this book, I Hate This Place, which is going to be my most serious. Like, it's not going to be funny. Again, nominated for Best Eisner, for Best Humor Publication. So it was still pretty funny, I guess.
Well, horror and comedy are really close to each other.
Yep,
they very much are.
Thing.
Yeah.
The same that you're doing, it's all beats. You're setting up a punchline, which is a scare. And it's all, and they both exist just to make you feel something.
Right.
They're literally like they're in many ways the same. So I felt very safe doing it.
They're involuntary art. Like you make someone laugh you make someone afraid against their will.
Or you hope,
in a way.
You hope.
Yeah. So
I knew I could do it, and that's when I started doing it. And people it's luckily became the third genre, right? It's a fairly, I think it's maybe dying down a little bit, but I haven't heard that for sure. For the last 5 years, every publisher only went horror, and I think there's a little bit less of that now. But it's like, man, it's so good that there's another option, and I love horror, and there's so many ways to do it. And that's kind of thing is like, if I Hate This Place hadn't worked, not only because the premise that I Hate This Place, for those who don't know, is basically there's a haunted ranch, but there's also like weird ghosts, and there's lights in the sky, and there's some sort of entity, and it's all the horror things. There's monsters, there's body horror, there's a serial killer on the. And I was like, well, if I only get to do one and no one liked it, at least I did like all of them. You know what I mean? Like,
you got it all.
I did as many as I could, and people really liked it. And Where Monsters Lie, which is a comedy horror, I'd say the horror, whatever. I hate to say comedy because it's such a bad word in the direct market, but it's a horror comedy because I was like, you know what? If I'm doomed to just like, I have less readers, but I made someone laugh for like 15 minutes a year, like that's fine with me. And Where Monsters Lie was my love letter to sort of 80s slasher movies, right? Because I was like, so you go to think like, well, the next one is this, like this. There's just so many genres. And it's not like I love slasher. I found that slashers are my favorite because of my comic book affiliations, because they're basically, it's always good versus evil. The bad guy has a mask and he has some power. You know what I mean? Like,
and they're very simple. They're very straightforward. Everyone knows what's going on. And that's one of the things I liked about
is fighting.
Yeah, where Monsters Lie was you're pointing at the characters going, oh, it's Casey, or oh, that's Ed Gein, or that's it's great because like you said before, the archetypes, they work so well. Yeah.
And I think it's better if you go, oh, that's your shape, which is Carpenter talk, but I thought everybody knew, and it's like, well, it doesn't matter which one it is. Yeah, but you kind of get, so like when the shape fights the chainsaw guy, you go, oh wait, I think Leatherface is fighting Jason right now.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's cool. That's cool. I wonder what they think is going to be the outcome to that.
Right.
But it's none of those guys. It's neither one of those guys. But they're shorthanded.
But it's all
a million cannibals. Yeah. We love the archetypes.
Yeah,
especially for horror stuff. So so the revenge one, I hadn't seen a bloody revenge for so long, so they are still coming out.
I'm really enjoying that, by the way. I really like that first issue, and I haven't had a chance to get 2 yet. But
two's huge. Two's out now, and it's huge because the first one. The tough thing about that is that when you tell that kind of story, which is a bloody revenge, is that bad things have to happen, and the bad things that happen,
someone who doesn't deserve it,
are not the fun things for me as a creator to do. But I have to make you go, this poor person, and then when they get their revenge, go, that was amazing. So there was a lot of like, oh, is this like, it's like torture porn or whatever people are. And like, no, it's not. It's just,
it's 4
issues and I only have so much space. And like, this is the one where the bad thing happens. Like the next one is so good because she starts getting her revenge and her revenge is great. And the bad guys are such good bad guys. And all the side characters I think are so fun. I'm real pleased with that book.
It's a definite callback to some of the like, and I say this not in a bad way, the cringe-inducing horror films that I remember.
No, yeah.
Like I Spit on Your Grave or Last
House on the Left.
Ooh, yeah, those are, I remember watching those as a kid and being like, wow, that's just crazy. And that your story has a very similar feel to that.
Yeah.
And at the point where the main character actually decides, like, I'm just going to kill them all, you're with her. You're right there. You're like, yep, you got to do it. Like, there's no other way.
Yeah. And then we get to see her do it for 3 issues.
Yeah.
Keep it interesting.
Very satisfying.
I'm real proud of that. I'm real proud of it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's worth checking out.
All right.
Yeah.
Two's out. 1 and 2 right now. 2's very good.
I got to get 2.
I
got to get 2.
Happens in 2 is very good.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite horror movie? Since you haven't been watching horror for very long. What's your favorite movie? Hold on, wait. Your top 5 favorite Italian horror movies. Go.
No, I don't love the Giallo so much. They're too. Generally, it's just like wrestling. Like I don't like vibe things, and if it's horror that's very vibe heavy and not narrative driven, I'm probably out. And that doesn't mean I don't like it. Like there's a one that's very popular, especially with younger people, called like Where the TV Glows, which I thought was great, but it's very vibey.
Great movie.
I agree.
Yeah. It's very vibey though for me. You know what I mean? It's very vibey. So it's like I would never be like, that's my favorite.
Not very plot heavy.
What's my favorite?
You weren't going to answer.
I'm so bad. I'll tell you this. I think I think if you're like, what's the best one? I don't know if it's my favorite because it's scary. I think The Exorcist is the best one.
Okay.
The one that scared me the most is Carpenter's The Fly because I can't do body horror. So like that's the one I won't watch again. Anything with body horror, I just simply will not watch. It's the one thing I can't do.
Oh, so you can't watch any? Can't watch any Cronenberg movies, huh?
No.
Nope. I can't watch any Cronenberg. That Together that just came out. I know Together. It's like I can't watch that.
Ooh,
I can't watch. Yeah. I can't watch it because I know that they're melding together and I can't do that. Yeah. There's a Kevin Smith horror called Tusk. I'll never watch it.
That was tough.
I'll never watch it because that is even if something like it's a comedy all the way through. I'd be like, my friend, I know what happens and it creeps me out too. Yeah, it's the one thing I can't do.
That was a tough watch.
You know, at this point, it would be hilarious if somebody kind of flip the trope where you cast Justin Long and you don't have something absolutely awful happen to him.
Speaking of Justin Long,
every movie
modern, Get Out, Barbarian, and Follows. That's my three. Those are my three. Modern.
You were able to do it. You gave.
I can do that. I do remember the context, but you go all the time, and I'm like, I'm not thinking of so many movies. There's so many.
I was kidding.
No, Barbarian.
I can do modern. Because those are the ones. Because I came so you know what I mean. Like I kind of went backwards in many ways, but also not because I've watched 50 movies this year already. Like I watch a lot of movies.
Right.
So I'm consuming so many things. But I know there's a bunch of horror stuff. Like I want to see Good Boy. I just found a bunch. I need to watch the new Black Phone. Like there's so much stuff. Like it's piling up. But it's always tough because I like horror in October. Like I really like it in October.
Right. Yeah.
And so otherwise it's like I'll put it on, but it's not as much fun. Summertime, but like it's too early in the year for horror. One of my friends only watches horrors in August, which is stupid, but I get it. Like August and October.
Yeah. It's like summer.
The weather has to be right. Like the weather has to be right. The weather.
You watch horror all the time. So
I watch horror constantly. Yeah,
I love it.
Ridiculous.
And the worse, the better for Brian.
Yeah,
that's the worst horror movies you can ever possibly imagine.
You know, and you said it. I think you sort of said it earlier. But the thing, whenever I have these conversations, especially about wrestling, and is that for me, horror movies, wrestling, and comics are all sort of in the same space where when they're bad. They can be very bad, but they're still kind of good. Like you have to be really bad to be bad in any of those three things, right?
Well, you just have to be boring. Boring is the only way to be bad.
Really. Are like so technically unsound it's upsetting. You know what I mean? Like all three, all three. You don't want to watch one where you're like, I think they're going to kill somebody out there. But also like I think because they're, and I say it respectfully, they're such low art. Like the middle to highs for them is still probably lower than a lot of in terms of quality and art. But because of that, when any of those three things rises above and somehow is a masterpiece, they go so Hereditary. Hereditary goes so big and so high. It's better than F1, or whatever. Like it's better because it overcame. And whenever wrestling, especially when you go, and it's not the best example, but kind of the most recent one to me was like the Sami Zayn Bloodline thing, like the emotionality of it, the epicness of it, the lore, everything was playing in together in a way that they kind of landed it. And just every moment that you can care about these people who you don't really care about. I mean, I don't know if anyone's like, man, that match made me cry. And it's like, okay, well, was it his last match? You know what I mean? Did he get hurt? we don't emote to any of the, we don't really connect to any of the characters in those three genres, like because of how they're done generally. Like comics, you have to fill in the space, right? And wrestling is like, well, it all takes place of just punching each other for the most part. Right. So it's hard to find a thing where you're like, I'm emotionally connecting with this person and their journey. Like you might get the one, I love this character.
Yes.
And when horror does it, horror, comics, wrestling, when those three do it, you just feel like something amazing has happened. There's I don't know how many Oscars are there. There's 8 or whatever. Like I think I've watched like half of them. They're really good, but like none of them were as good as when Sami Zayn finally got his revenge. Like, the Summer of Punk, the Yes Movement, like there's any number that they're rare. Like they're rare.
They are,
the entire Stone Cold,
Stone
Cold Vince McMahon entirety, which was like 4 years.
They really stand out.
Ric Flair's retirement year at WWE, like that's art. And whenever those low art things become high art, it's somehow bigger to me and it's more powerful and way more fun. And that's what those three are my genres. Those are my three. And basketball is not a narrative genre. Well, kind of is, but not really. But those are the things that I fixate on the most, really. And action movies, but action movies aren't good anymore unless you go to Korea. That's a whole other conversation.
Right. That's a whole other talk. But with the relationship between wrestling and comics, for me, it's always been like I've been following Batman since I was a kid. I've been following Sting since I was a kid. So I've seen them develop over the years, and for me, wrestling is always about the history of the person, and I've watched this person since my example I always give is a weird one. Rhino.
Sure.
I saw Rhino's first match, and now I'm watching him.
I thought you were talking about the Spider-Man.
30-something years later. I could have been. I'm watching him 30-something years later towards the end of his run, which to me is like, it relates to a comic book for me. I've been watching this, and it's funny because I've said for years, wrestling is soap operas for men.
100%.
I've seen the character develop. I've seen him be bad. I've seen him be good. I've seen him be gone. I've seen him be back. He's here. He's there. And that's always been, and that's why right now I don't watch WWE anymore because there's no connection for me really to my past. They don't bring a lot of old wrestlers back anymore.
Well, they do, but you don't want them.
Right. And that's like JCW right now is bringing a lot of old wrestlers that I like back. Yeah. And so, same thing with AW. And that's why, it's, I don't know. I'm weird when it comes to stuff like that. Whatever.
No, I think nostalgia is a big part of anything that we're attracted to. But
same thing with comics. Nostalgia is a big thing for me.
I like to see the evolution. You know what I mean? Like, I bias, but I like this Peacemaker. No one cared about the other one. Like, this new Peacemaker is great.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not always true, but I like to see that. And I almost feel like it's been a while. Dude, Booster Gold ran 50 issues. Did you know that? It ran 54 issues.
I know. I have them. All in drawer right here.
And there is no Dr. Wonder boy. You know what I mean? The new DC character going 50 issues. It doesn't work that way. Like, and I think that's kind of disappointing because I remember the Thunderbolts. I remember the New Warriors, and that's not even including like Rage. You're joining the Avengers or name it, where we used to get new characters. And of course, there's a whole thing where back then there was only one game in town. If you want to write comics, if you want to make a new character, well, they probably owned it. Blah 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 blah. Blah. But I like the new things. I think it's a really exciting time in WWE because I think we're literally at an exodus point where it's shifting to these young guys, and it's really interesting to see what that direction. Like, I find that interesting. That's what I like about, AEW brought a bunch of Chikara guys, and at the time I was way into the indies. I was way into, like, I love Kevin Steen. I don't care for Kevin Owens, which I don't know why that is.
Right.
But seeing all those guys that who are probably working for a pizza and a handshake in a lot of places, get these up, dude, is fascinating. It's fascinating. Especially guys like, Orange Cassidy is one of my Fire Ant. He was, spoilers, guys. He was an Ant once. He was one of my all-time favorite wrestlers and one of my all-time favorite promotions. And like, that's awesome.
Should never work.
Chuck Taylor is like one of my all-time, because he's from Kentucky. He's a Kentucky gentleman. And like, so I saw him wrestle in Salvation Armies. You know what I mean? Like, so it's cool to see these guys make their time. So I like the churn. So like, it's funny you say AEW because I'm like, AEW is like, you're not even getting WWE guys. It's all new guys, really.
Right.
And I think that's what's exciting about it. And I preferred it, especially because it's okay to not watch something if it doesn't respect you or if the ownership is bad. And so I was like, WWE wasn't even trying. They were very McDonald's for a long time where they're like, we're serving you a burger, you eat the burger, you don't.
You're going to eat it, you don't like it.
Yeah. And AEW, especially during the Jacksonville, the COVID times, I thought were doing really cool, neat things.
Me too.
But a failure of narrative is, because again, as you said, there's soap operas for men. With the narrative fail, I'm not supposed to forget things happen. It's so disrespectful. So like, I am taking a break from AEW, but they do have guys I love. It's just, I think the narrative stuff's such a mess, and I want my stories. And I will tell you, since 2 years? I think it's been 2 years or 3 years since they got rid of that guy who sucks.
No,
Vince.
No, that guy.
And in the time, the narratives have gone. The narrative quality has gone up, and then it's gone way down, and it's briefly gone up again. And it's like, well, it's inconsistent. And I'll tell you this, as a wrestling fan, one, I think AAA is great. I think AAA is all narrative, which I love. NXT does the thing that Attitude Era 90s Attitude Era WWE did, where everyone has a story. Every character who comes out has a story, right? And the thing is you go, well, is it very good? And I'll be like, well, that's interesting. Here's what it is. Here's what I like about it. Everyone has a story and everyone's trying really hard. And it feels like high school theater a lot of the times, but I would rather watch people clearly trying to entertain me and trying to do the best they can than to do a 5-star match that with no narrative. You know what I mean? Like with no story. And so I watch NXT. It's the one show I won't miss because I really enjoy it. Is it good? They're really trying, and I like that someone's trying.
Well, they want to make it. They all want to make it to the big time.
And a lot of them are learning. They're learning on the job, though. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to figure this stuff out now. So there's also the very interesting thing where you go, we're so tangenting off, but there's a girl who's in the minor leagues of WWE. Her name's Kendall Gray, and she's unbelievable. She's a future star, and she's like Kurt Angle. Like this is Lady Kurt Angle, and like that's awesome to see stuff like that, or to see the point where a character they go, oh, they figured it out. You know what I mean?
Right, they got it.
You can see it on the big shows, but these guys have been doing it. Most have been doing it for long enough.
Yeah,
they're not learning or figuring. I just listened to JBL talk about like The Godfather and like how before like you've gone through all these things,
all these different characters.
Yeah, they used to be able to goof around. They used to be able to goof around back then on house shows
and
figure out something and go, look,
stuff.
They love God. They love the Ho Train. They love this.
Yeah,
like, oh, that's my thing. Like I kind of miss that. I kind of miss repackaging. Though I say that, and there's the Grande Americano, who is the definition of repackaging, which is kind of unbelievable. Let me tell you what Grande Americano real quick.
There's this guy made up this thing. Yeah, called Grande Americano.
Grande Americano, yeah, right. All right.
Okay.
So it's an American. This Olympian was doing this luchador stuff, so he became Grande Americano. He comes out, we all know it's him, but he got injured. So for whatever reason, I think because it was like we weren't supposed to know it's him. That's a bit which I love in wrestling. I love the bit like if you put a mask on, you can be whoever you want to be.
It's not that guy anymore.
Who's the Midnight Rider? It could be anyone. There's no way that guy's Dusty Rhodes.
That's one of my Midnight Rider, Dirty Yellow Dog, one of my favorites too ever. Repack, love it.
So I think because they vaguely had this, he could be anyone thing. Right. They just put it on another guy who was in a position where like he's probably on his way out. Good wrestler, foreign guy. So they put the Grande Americano, which is just a mask, and they're like, why is he taller? Like, don't worry about it. It's the same guy. But here's what's interesting. What's interesting about it is this guy, they bought AAA, which is the Mexican promotion. Right. And he goes there and they adore him. He has found a lifelong career by putting on this thing that was supposed to be a joke and a throwaway. And like that to me, that's the type of stuff I love about wrestling.
Yeah. It's not supposed to make it. And they make it.
He came out and someone's gonna be so mad. He sang in Spanish for one of his intros. He's German. He's a German guy. He sang in Spanish this sort of old Mexican ballad, and the crowd I think you go, I'm going to do this. They're going to hate this. They loved it because he came out. He could speak Spanish and he knows the culture and stuff like that is so cool to me. AAA has a guy named Mr. Iguana who comes out with a stuffed iguana that he can use. That's real. It's real, but it's not real. And it seems so dumb. And you go, this is so dumb. But like every time I've seen him, it's a delight. It's so much fun and it's funny and it's entertaining. It's like, that's kind of what I want. You know, I love when I finally won the title. Oh boy. It's like, you know what? I've seen that a million times. Like, give me the time traveling guys like Chikara did, or give me the magic, the undead guy in Lucha Underground. I'm not saying I want Tony Storm. Give me Orange Cassidy. Like Orange Cassidy, just like, but I love it when things are like that worked and it shouldn't have. And it's because they tried something. Yeah, it shouldn't have worked. And
I should not be a fan of Orange Cassidy, but I am.
Love him.
Even if Jim Cornette hates him, I love him.
That's almost more reason to love him, I say.
That's exactly why I love him. I love him. Your Midnight Rider. Thank you for that. That's a good reference. I haven't thought about him in a very long time.
I know a thing or two.
You apparently you do.
So, just to pivot back to comics.
Yeah. Please.
A quick
Wrestle Heist now in shops. Wrestle Heist number 2 is now in stores. That on my shoulder. Number 2 now in stores. End of Life coming up.
Okay, End of Life. I wanted to talk about now. Johnny Stallion, right? That's the character.
Eddie Stallion.
I'm sorry, Eddie Stallion.
That's okay. It doesn't matter.
So the
could have been named anything.
What I could tell from what I've read, I know it's a little bit here and there online in the previews and stuff. He's a bit of an idiot, right? But he's a bit of
a man-child in many ways.
But he's a really excellent killer.
Yes,
very good at this, right? And he robs accidentally one of the elders of the group he belongs to, right?
The menagerie.
Right. Now he's on the run.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
Classic.
Where where does this come from? Where do you gather this from?
So wait, but before you answer that, how did you get the Vertigo?
Oh yeah, the Vertigo.
How did that come?
Which is awesome that they're bringing it back.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things that ever happened in comics was Vertigo.
So I'll tell you how Vertigo's coming back, and I'll tell you how I got it. Because one of them is really interesting, and the other one's not. So Vertigo, in many ways, for many DC, first of all, DC's killing it right now. They feel to me like the only publisher that's looking at the landscape of comics right now and realizing it's changing and that you need to do things differently. And a lot of the things they've done that have been very smart have been a result of listening to retailers. And if floppies are the most important thing, that means retailers are the most important thing. And it's good that someone's at least going, what do you guys think? So like the compact edition DC books, which sell great everywhere, that's a result of, again, this is some hearsay, but it's my understanding, is that they said, retailers, why do you think people are buying manga and not our comics? And they go, oh, because they're smaller and cheaper. Now, here's the thing. That's incorrect. That's not why they're buying them, but it doesn't hurt that they're cheaper. Like, it doesn't hurt that they're smaller and cheaper. People are buying them because they're standalone stories. Like, you don't have to know anything before or after, and you can get it for $9. And they're, to this point, stone cold classics. Like, everyone is going to be good because they've curated it. All right.
Yeah.
So the next thing I guess they asked, or that retailers said what they feel like one of the biggest problems with modern comics is that there's not ongoings with the same creative teams. Byrne and Claremont, Byrne and Byrne on Fantastic Four, name it. Yeah. I mean, outside of like Tom Taylor on Nightwing, you can't really point at anything and go like, look at this long run like these two guys have done. And I mean, even just one guy, I feel like Tom Taylor's been on that book for about 17 years. Right. Good for him. We love Nightwing. So what they did, which is to say, Chris Conroy, who's the Black Label, who's the head editor of Vertigo now. I think he edits, and I know he edits like Absolute Wonder Woman, but I think he does another line. So Black Label and now Vertigo. Chris Conroy, I think, is one of the smartest guys I've ever talked to in comics. I think he's going to run DC one day, or he'll run someplace one day. He's really smart. So they were like, they're bringing Vertigo back to sort of answer this. Like, how do we get people to stay on a book? It's creator owned. Right. It's creator owned.
So you own that title.
Well, it's complicated, but more or less, it's better than like the way people think you own things at Skybound and you don't own them at all. I technically own it. Like, there's a reversion clause. There's all these little things where it's not me just doing a DC book. Like, I technically, at worst in 6 years, I own it. You know what I mean? Because that's a reversion. There's a reversion clause in place. So it is creator owned. It's my story. We weren't led. You know what I mean? That's the story. Like, if we give something creator owned, they'll stick with it as long as it's making them money. And same for DC, right?
Okay.
So how do you decide this? Well, the way I would do it would be different. But what Chris Conroy did, he's like, well, I want to get people who make the books I like to read, and I want those teams. So, and I don't know which order people were asked, but Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips are probably the best young creative team, the best young creative combo out there. Imperial Gang Massacre, That Texas Blood. Those are unbelievably good books, and on their own now they're doing great stuff. They're just really talented. I think Condon is one of, in a few years, he's going to be one of the guys. Like, he's going to be the guy that everyone loves. He should be there now, in my opinion. That's neither here nor there. Dennis and Stipend had done 20th Century Man, and I think that's all they had done. So I'm not for sure. I guess they really like 20th Century Man, or they really like Dennis. Dennis is great. He's a really nice guy. He's smart. Now, in that time, because this is 2.5 years ago that basically all of this started, 2 years plus. In that time, Dennis has became Dennis. He's like, him and Scott Snyder are the best writers of the year. Like, I don't know who you want to pick. One did so much for the industry. The other one is everybody's favorite, right? And then we did Peacemaker, and they liked Peacemaker, and they said, what about you two jokers? And I said, yeah, I got a dumb one. I got a dumb one for you. So basically that's how it works, is that when they started, it was just us three. And I say that is that James Tynion's books have always more or less were supposed to be Vertigo. Like, they were going to put out, I think there was a rumor, which is true, but you didn't hear from me, it's hearsay, is that I believe either volume 2 of Nice House on the Lake or the first volume of Nice on the Sea, they were going to release and just have no promotion, just ship it out with the Vertigo. Which I kind of wish they would have done it, because the response would have been so big. But the issue was with that is that there would have only been one, and now there's 4. And that's not even including the second wave. And the second wave is literally home run hitters in this industry. It's literally the best of the best for all intents. It's Ron V. It's Tom Taylor.
We love Ron V.
It's a crazy list of guys. It's Cy Spurrier and Aaron Campbell, who of course did that great Hellblazer run. Two great Hellblazer runs. It's just a crazy list. So that's how we got in there. They liked Peacemaker. They wanted people doing unique stories. Right. They wanted us to cook. They wanted a Kyle Starks book. They're getting a Kyle Starks book. Okay. It's extremely Kyle Starks. It does everything I want Kyle Starks books to do, which is they're violent, they're fast, they're maybe funny or charming.
You gotta laugh at me.
They probably have daddy issues, right?
Those preview pages, you gotta laugh out of me.
There's one real good joke for sure in there. But I think toxic masculinity, these are all things I like. I feel I want them to be all together. Chris Conroy, who's a genius, he's like, it feels very Preacher-esque, and I'm like, yeah, it's like it is. That's what I'm going for. That's what I like. The kind of stories I like, where they have everything in them. It's a certain core characters, which is really kind of Eddie, but it's kind of the pitch was it's John Wick meets Northern Exposure, right? So the town is sort of a character too. The idea of like being like the Stone Cold Killer in this town with just like happy weirdos, and like you're kind of constantly bouncing off them because you're an asshole from the big city who kind of hates it here, but they're immune to you, like they're completely immune to you. And his first love is there. And of course, his dad's dying. It's very complicated. It's everything I wanted. It's emotional. It's violent. It's fast. It's got a barrage of wild characters. Like, and CPU is the best character designer. Maybe every time I literally have I have 3 issues I'm writing. I'm just going to make up characters just to make them draw them weird. Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm literally I'm just like, what's the dumbest name? Like, draw it up, CPU. And he doesn't do he doesn't send us sketches. Like, oh, here's I don't want to give anything away. Here's this guy. You know what I mean? He just draws it, and we go, "Yep, he nailed it."
I gotta say, I think he nailed the visual look of a character like Eddie. And I haven't even read the book yet, but just from what I read, those few pages that were released as the preview, the look of Eddie is exactly what he should look like. It's
kind of punchable. Punchable.
Yeah.
The red suit.
Steve's really good.
Yeah.
Oh. Why? And here, since you mentioned it, you'll see the rest of the menagerie through the course of the book. And he's the only one who doesn't wear a black suit. Like, what a little jackass. I think he has loafers on. I think he wears sockless loafers. Ridiculous.
It's a great character. It really is. I'm looking forward to that one a lot.
How many issues is it?
I'm guaranteed 12.
Oh, well,
great. Good.
And then it should go from there.
We hope. I will say, feels unlikely. But that's comics for you. But 12 issues, again, I got to tell a very me story that I think people are going to like, and it's going to be the first time a lot of people read my work, which was the same of I Hate This Place. I feel like I'm complaining whenever I sort of voice things.
But I know what you mean.
I'm not really, but people don't know who I am. That's just how it is. I'm not unknown, but I've been trying to use baseball. Brian, do you like baseball? Can I use baseball analogy?
I know something about baseball. Yeah.
Right. Is that
I'm more of a football fan, but
football is a little bit tougher because it doesn't have minor leagues.
Right.
But baseball is major leagues, triple A, double A, single A. Right.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm double A, and I'm probably high double A. You know what I mean? But
I don't know.
You're allowed to disagree. But here's the thing: I'm maybe triple A.
Okay.
I'm maybe AAA. I'm not a known commodity, and I can tell you because I know my sales numbers. I'm not at a point where my name is selling books. My books have to sell the books, and because I'm not known well enough, he's with me.
I got
in my mind.
I know what you mean.
Vertigo is I'm going to get a 10-day stint. You know what I mean? And I think because I have, for better or for worse, I have a very unique voice. No one makes comics like I do.
Right.
For better or for worse, and I'm not saying mine are better. I think they are, but. For better or for worse, I'm the only one who makes Kyle Starks comics. And to be granted the opportunity to basically do that on the biggest stage there is, it's either going to be great for me or it's going to be bad for Vertigo. Well, but I think the book's great.
This is your shot at the major leagues.
I think my shot at the major league.
I think, though, you mentioned Preacher before, and I think from what, like I said, I only read the preview pages. I haven't read the whole thing yet. I see that End of Life could very easily grab the same fan base as Preacher.
I hope so.
Because
or Why the Last Man. It has I think Why the Last Man is the same. Where it's you're constantly, but it all takes place in this town too, which is funny to me. but it's like these things are constantly happening, and it's always weirder and more violent and dumber, and the characters are not the same, and there's an arc being built. We wrote it like an ongoing, which I've never gotten to do.
Right.
I hate this place. When I started, was supposed to be an ongoing, but the industry changed, so it wasn't. It's gonna be then 15. It's not. I can't do it's 10. But so I wrote it. So like it's not like I would do Devil on My Shoulder.
Sure.
It's not like Wrestle Heist. Wrestle Heist is written to the end.
Yeah.
It's everything matters. Everything exists to tell this one story. Whereas End of Life, I have this sort of meandering thing, but everything matters because I'm a psychopath. every character I introduce, I have a plan for them that I can hopefully use them again later. Fingers crossed. So it's a different kind of storytelling, but I think because of that, it's very episodic, it's very fast, and it does the things that Preacher did, which Preacher was like those tight arcs. Like there's now they're fighting the Meat Man. Which is a good one. Now they're doing the orgy. Now they're at the orgy guy.
Yeah.
So it's like the first arc is basically a canceled cartoonist turned to a life of crime. Like basically, like if Jim Davis became like the despot from Roadhouse, and like so it's like this sort of as he's on the run from these hitmen, and the hitman keep showing up because of course they always do in this town in the middle of nowhere. Dealing with this criminal idiot who's the worst. And then the second arc is 2 arcs, sort of, that we're kind of stretching things out. So it's like one of these arcs, and we want to be fast. Like each issue is like I think there's 1 2-parter, and I've written 9 issues. I think there's one where it's like these two go together. I think, but they all kind of lead into each other, but they also it's an ongoing. And so I literally got out a bunch of 80s comics, and I read like, I should do this. I read a bunch of Grunwald guys. Let's be honest. I'm gonna tell you, I read a bunch of Grunwald because I love Grunwald. And it's like, every now and then you just have to have something that doesn't make any sense because you'll find out about it later. All these little like I wrote it like an ongoing. It probably won't be. It'll probably 12 issues. But 12 issues is pretty good. I can't complain about it. I won't complain.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to End of Life.
You did Rick and Morty too for a while, right?
I did Rick and Morty. Kyle, I did for 5 years, but honestly, anyone could have written that.
Okay,
because no one cares.
You said double A, but I mean, Rick and Morty is
Rick and Morty's a big
property.
Anyone could have wrote it. I worked on that book for 3 years when it was the most popular thing. I mean, the most popular thing in the world, and I was doing 28 to 30 shows a year just because I was making so much money selling Rick and Morty. Right. And it was literally 3 years in before someone mentioned something to me from the comic. And I was so aghast. I was like, wait, that's mine. And they're like, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. And I'm like, no, I made that. It's like, yeah. And now one of the characters I made is wildly popular on the interwebs with the young people, which I think is great. Would have been great if that was 5 years ago, and then I would have made more money. But
which character?
That would be Doofus Jerry. Doofus Jerry is very popular with the internet kids because Doofus Rick is an idiot. But Jerry is a real life idiot. So Doofus Jerry is very smart and very dangerous.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a genius.
He's like a genius. He's an evil genius rather than a lovable doofus. But yeah, so that's it. Didn't matter, and I've done things, and I'm not trying to lament because again, I've been doing this. I've literally done this every day professionally for 10 years. Right. And my wife didn't work for a couple of years to take care of her ailing grandmother. Right. I've done okay. Am I doing okay in February 2026? No, but that's not the story. That's not what we're talking about. I've been very blessed, but I've had many moments, not many, but in the last 5 years where I thought, like this is my time. And the thing is like there's a trick. So I thought Peacemaker was my time. I thought Rick and Morty was my time. I thought Marvel Unleashed was something that people would really enjoy. No one ever read that. I thought my Lobo one shot, which I'm incredibly proud of and has sold out, but that says more about order numbers than. And I did it. I did I tell people I'm the new Keith Giffen, and they get very mad, and that's correct. But I am though. Think about it. Is that what an honor? And I think like we killed that book. Like, but Scotty Young's doing it. You know what I mean? Scotty Young's doing Lobo. So it's always like I feel like, this is maybe my moment. This is my main moment. And the thing is with comics is that outside of very, very, very few people, like maybe a handful, you cannot have major success until you've done a long run at Marvel or DC. You simply cannot. Right. And those exceptions are like Jeff Smith and like Robert Kirkman. Kirkman did do runs, just no one cared about those runs. They cared about everything that came after, right? And Raina Telgemeier, who's not even in comics at all, but so she doesn't even barely count. But the number of people, Strangers in Paradise guy who probably doesn't have a nice house, like that nice of a house. You know what I mean? But very few people.
Terry Moore.
Yeah, Terry Moore. Maybe he does. I hope he does have a really nice house. But I'm saying the number of people who have good followings
Right.
Is that you have to do it, and I haven't been able to do it yet. In fact, I'm hoping this opens the door. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is my sweet tooth, right? Like maybe this is my sweet tooth, and then I get to do whatever Jeff Lemire did.
Well, I really think End of Life has the potential to really catch on because
we hope
it's
so.
got all those. It has all the ingredients that people who loved Vertigo way back when, like me, like I loved Preacher, I loved Invisibles, I loved Hellblazer. It has the qualities of some of those stories.
I think it has a lot of those. I think it has a lot of those qualities.
Yeah.
And the thing that all those things that Animal Man. No, Animal Man's not Vertigo, but to me it is.
Yeah, sure. It led to Vertigo.
Is that there's sort of a whimsy to them. But like no one would ever been like, you want to read a really funny book, which by the way, think about it. You're like, oh, you like comedy? You should read Preacher, or you should read The Last Man, or you should read you just said Hellblazer. Dark Knight Hellblazer is hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's also heartbreaking.
But there's an emotional core.
Yes.
That's real.
But I think what End of Life is going to be up against is people are going to go like, oh, they're trying to do a funny one. Okay. I think that's what's going to hurt it a lot. Is people are they're trying to do a funny one. It's like we're not.
Maybe
trying to do a story about it. People hate comedy. Direct market, you can't say comedy. In fact, they were going to do it, and I was like, do not use the word comedy when you promote this. Where Monsters Lie, they were like, which by the way, it's a horror comedy. It's a
dark comedy. Yeah,
but they were like hilarious new, and I'm like, take all that out. Like, don't say the book sold out, and it's sold out because we love funny things. We love Preacher. We love White Last Man. We love Justice League when Given and them started, but they weren't like a hilarious new look at America's Favorite Food Team. No. We love it when we read something and it happens to also be funny amongst all these other things, and that's what I do. But I think the perception is problematic. But again, this will be the first time a ton of people see my work for the first time. I don't think there's anyone like me, better for worse. So we'll see. I hope that's the case because I want to do this for a long time.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't laugh out loud a lot at comics, even at the, whatever jokes. There are two writers so far that I could say for sure have got me to laugh out loud, and it's Garth Ennis and you. I've gotten
I'll take it
out loud laughs from that. Yeah.
I talk about sort of comedy is a bad word in direct market because it is. And the thing is, the biggest thing against it, which is not to say these are the only, but it's a very small group of people who consistently are able to make laughs. And I'm blanking on Mark's last name, who did Not All Robots. Mark, he's super good, but his stuff's very cerebral. Mark Davis? Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. He's a friend. They're not a friend. He's an acquaintance, obviously. Chip is very funny when he wants to be. Chip is the funniest guy in comics when he wants to be.
He's very funny.
Ryan Brown is always very funny. John Allison, Scotty. Here's the thing. I think maybe like it's supposed to be funny, and Scotty's a great talent. But it's like I read that stuff, and it's like I think that's what makes people mad at people saying funny comics. But I think he's the line too, right? I think he's the line because I haven't read everything Scotty's written, so I can't. Right. He's doing horror now too. He's just like me. Let's get out of it. But it's a very short list of people. Here's the thing: Scotty draws funny very well, and there's no arguing that at all. But it's just like it's hard for people to do. So when someone goes like, "Here's this funny new thing from Marvel or DC," it won't be because they didn't put one of those five guys on it. And if they did, you maybe didn't buy it. I think Peacemaker. I'm so proud of Peacemaker. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. I think Steve and I made literally a classic. I think we've made something that's timeless. Well, no one bought it. You know what I mean? Like, because did they think it was a TV show? Was it because the TV show was already, who knows? But I think we made a classic. And when they put it out in compact, then people will read it. Please put it out in compact. Please put it out in compact. Please. Dude, what a bummer. Look, we love comics. Comics are the best. We're telling good stories. That's all we can do. And we hope especially now because social media is so weird. And it's super weird right now. Yeah. And the direct market itself is super weird now because finally we're getting young people into the stores, but they're only buying one thing, right? They're only buying Absolute. You know what I mean? Like
they love Absolute.
Buying Absolute.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
And Battle Beast. And apparently Battle Beast. They're buying a lot of Battle Beast here.
That went huge. Couldn't believe how big those numbers were.
It's Invincible.
But that's because the show, the Invincible show. Yeah.
And Robert Kirkman is literally always good. He's literally always good.
But you're buying a book because Robert Kirkman's on it.
Or because of Invincible if you're these kids.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's an interesting time where we're getting these new readers in, which is amazing and great, but they don't know they don't know about independent comics yet. And
No,
they also
right.
like it's kind of such a slog. Like there's not even like where when I got started in 2015, 16, 17, Twitter was kind of just happening.
Right.
And it was like Twitter felt like being at the comic shop on a Wednesday. We were all just talking about things we liked. We were enthusiastic and excited. And then it'd be that thing where you'd be like, someone goes, "Did you ever read that Punisher when he got the jet ski?" And you're like, "No, tell me." That was like what it was like, right? It's like, we're like, "Did you do this? Did you do this?" It's like, "What? No, that's great. Tell me more." And they're like, "Oh, if you've never read this, you should check this out," right? And that's gone right now in terms of social media. I think TikTok is doing things the new comic book days hall, but community is what sells things. I was trying to remember you guys because I Creature came out when I was working in a shop. 97? Did that sound right?
Yeah, it was around 90. It was it ended around 99.
Yeah, late 90s.
Yeah. So I was in the shop then, and it's like I'm trying to remember. I don't think anyone cared when number one came out because Garth Ennis had only done Hitman.
No one cared.
And so it's that thing where you go at some point you have your free.
He had a little bit of an arc
2000
at
AD.
Hellblazer.
Yeah.
He had already done Dangerous Habits, I think, in Hellblazer.
To me, he was Hellblazer. To me, that Hellblazer, because that's one of the greatest. His Hellblazer run is one of the greatest comic runs ever, in my opinion. Him and Steve Dillon.
I would love if he would come back and do a comic about Chaz, just Chaz, like a comic about Chaz, the cab driver would be. I would buy that in a minute.
How many times has that guy died? He's got to be dead right now,
right?
He's died like a million times. So the thing is, like, so Preacher happens, Bone happens, because I remember, I remember the first Bone being like, "What is?" I remember the self-published one before it was Antarctic Press or whatever it was.
Yeah,
we're like, "What is this? Like, why it looks cool?"
Yeah.
Is that those are things that grew, and because of that, people go, "Oh, this guy, Garth." No one writes Garth. Well, people try to, but no one writes a comic like Garth Ennis.
Right.
So you always tell, when is your Hellblazer run? When is your Preacher? And so
you're waiting for that.
Of something.
Yeah, but like you said, though, if the kids are coming into shops now, it's a good sign, even if they're only buying absolute.
It's great.
Ultimately, they're going to discover indie comics and realize how great, how much there is out there. So
and how varied and diverse it all
is. You need
to
get in order to keep this hobby alive. You need to have the kids in there buying comic books.
Yeah,
100%.
If not, then we die, and then it dies.
Yeah, it's a weird time, but I think it's promising. I think it's promising.
Die?
Yeah, die.
Eventually.
Hate talking about that.
Yeah, but that's coming. Well, Kyle, thank you.
Not soon though. Not soon though.
Not soon though.
No time soon.
Kyle, thank you for taking a lot of time.
Yeah, taking all this time to talk to us.
We appreciate it. We love talking wrestling and comics and horror
movies.
You touched on all our favorite things.
Yeah, I am really, and again, I'm looking forward to End of Life. I am going to be starting Wrestling Heist very soon. Wrestle Heist very soon.
Brian won't understand Wrestling Heist.
He will. Hold on. Here's the thing. I think anyone will enjoy that book, and I'll tell you. I mean, I say that sincerely. If you like a heist movie, why would you not like the Wrestle Heist movie?
Right. I enjoy the. Looks like the old magazines. I enjoy.
Yeah, I worked. Yeah, that's apparently the peak of my design skills. Is that
like that one specifically? That one specifically, I remember seeing that in the old comic books and the old magazines.
I'm doing a thing where there's each of those ads has its own narrative that also runs through the back of the 5 issues. So
that's great.
Like the grow to the script strength thing changes. The guy trying to sell the rings, it gets worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, and the lists are fantastic because that's
the videos. The video guys are getting to a video wrestling video war. So I do the back issues. The back matter is almost as much work. Yeah. Next, the issue 2. If you see, issue 2 has a different ad in it. Yeah, it has a different. It has a different ad in it. There it is. See, that's Miles Driver, King of the Pile Driver. The thing is, I think. I say this sincerely, not as like I'm trying to get people. I'm not trying to sell, but I do think like if you have whimsy in your heart or joy at all, I think you will like Wrestle Heist. It's just fun.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's just big. It's big dummies trying to take down a billionaire, an awful, evil billionaire.
Love it.
I love how you went to all a bunch of comic writers and asked them their favorite wrestlers or favorite tag teams.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
Yeah, we ask a different question.
I think it's great. How many people said the Road Warriors was fantastic to me? That was my.
Probably not enough, though. Let's be honest.
It should have been everyone. I don't know why everyone did it. But I'm really enjoying it.
There's some interesting. there's some interesting answers back there too from some interesting people. So
Yes, there were.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Maybe again, we make the things that we wish existed in the world, and we do them the best of our ability. I'm extremely proud of it. Sales will be what sales will be. It doesn't change that I made something cool. And my hope is that it has legs as wrestling fans come into comics, or there are wrestling fans tell their non-comic wrestling friends, hey, there's this pretty good thing. If you like wrestling, which you clearly do, you know?
Yeah. I was hoping we'd get figures of some of these guys, but we have to get. I want.
Someone will be doing it on their own 3D printer. Get it out
at some point. Let's go, Gravedigger.
Come on, Jada Toys. Let's go. Come on.
We need figures of that. But I mean, it's fun. I'm having a lot. I'm enjoying it. It's honestly, it's when the week it comes out. It's the first book I read because it's just so different than anything else that I'm reading. It's a fun ride.
We love that. That's what we're trying to do. Be different. Be fun.
It's fun.
And comics should be fun.
It is.
Definitely.
You're doing it with this. I can't wait to see how the heist goes. So heist hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But issue 4 and 5. Issue 4 is a 2-part heist.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks for all the time you gave us.
Of course. Thanks for taking the time, guys.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to all of this, especially like I said, end of life. I'm really excited about that.
And then you're welcome back anytime you want to promote anything else coming out. We can talk wrestling anytime you want.
I like to talk about all these things. These are all things I like to talk about.
Any JCW talk you want, let's go.
And I will next time try to convince
I gotta find the zombies.
I will convince you of the value of Italian horror.
They're a tag team, so but
too vibey, man. Too vibey.
Too gross. Thank you. We will definitely see you again, I hope. Hopefully we
absolutely. Thanks.
Kyle, thank you. Thanks, have a good one. Enjoy JCW tonight because it's on tonight.
Okay, good to know.
See you later.